everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video I'll be showing you guys a evening night routine with my 6-week-old baby. Just before we begin, I just wanted to explain a few things. So my daughter is currently 6 weeks and she's actually gonna be like 7 weeks tomorrow. I've been doing this routine for the past week and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. She's still so young, so I don't really expect her to, you know, get this routine straight away. So this routine is really realistic and it sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't work, and I'm just being honest with you guys. But most of the time it works. Sometimes, you know, she'll be crying for a little bit longer, it will be more harder to settle her down, but she's starting to understand this routine and she's becoming more tired and knows what's coming after which bit, if you know what I mean. So she sleeps in a little side bed next to our bed in our room because we have a really small flat, and if you wanted to see a tour of our studio apartment, then it's gonna be linked just here. So the first thing you will see is me doing her bath, and just to let you know, I don't bath her every single day. I bath her once every 3 days, so every 3 days she will have a bath, and on the days where she doesn't have a bath, instead of bath, I would just wash her face with a cloth and her neck. And you're probably gonna have questions about her waking up at night. And my answer to that is her routine starts at 8 p.m. She goes to sleep about 9 p.m. where she will then wake up at about 12 p.m, about 2, 3 a.m. and then about 5, 6 a.m. and her morning routine starts at 7 a.m. So that's about it, and if you have any more questions then leave them down below. Other than that, like this video and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Press the button down below. So let's begin. So our evening usually starts with a bath. Like I was saying before, I only do this every 3 days, so it's just not too much. And as you can see right here, I'm setting up a little bath, and we actually have a foldable bath for the baby, which is really cool and it doesn't take any space at all. Then I'm putting this little seat on the bath, and I will link everything down below, including the bath itself. And this is just what it looks like, and it's really easy to wash a baby inside it. So I actually just use coconut oil itself. I don't use any sort of shampoos or anything like that at this moment because I want to keep everything natural. So I'm pretty sure Arella actually loves having a bath. She actually never cries and just sits there quietly. And I just put this nice warm water all over her body, and I'm pretty sure she enjoys that. So after I dry her, obviously the next step is putting her nappy on, and by this time she's still quite calm, which is good. Then I like to massage her body for her, and again I'm using coconut oil, and I'm trying to do the circle motion on her tummy because she's struggling with colic and gas, and I read that this actually helps, so I decided to just do that anyway. And I also like to put some coconut oil on her head to prevent cradle cap. And of course the next thing is putting some pajamas. I always use onesies as her pajamas just to make her understand that it is a little bit of a different type of clothing, and I don't know, I just find onesies are really easy to use at night. So before feeding, I always try to give her AICOK. AICOK is this kind of a medication for newborns to prevent them having gas. Luckily it's orange flavour, so she doesn't mind it that much. And now it's time for bedtime, and this process is usually the longest, and it takes a lot of time and a lot of patience. She does sleep with us, but she has her own side bed next to our bed, and the first thing is I try to make the atmosphere quite calm, so I put this white noise on first. So I also have a diffuser in our bedroom, and I always use lavender oil just to create like a calm atmosphere, and then of course I breastfeed. And by this time she is really impatient, but as soon as she latches on, she becomes nice and settled. And this feeding time usually takes from half an hour to an hour, where she's starting to fall asleep on her own. Then I'm trying to burp her, but by that time she really is almost asleep. So sometimes she'll burp and sometimes she won't, but I'll literally give her like 10 minutes to see if she does. So the next thing I do is I swaddle her. We tried using different kind of swaddles, but we just decided to go for the normal one because she didn't like any of those, and she does like to have her arms out, which she will take out at night. And I'm using kind of a thin blanket so she doesn't get too hot at night as well.
And then of course I rock her to sleep. This process is actually pretty long, and sometimes she's more tired, sometimes she's less tired, so I just make sure that she's fallen asleep fully. I don't sleep train her at all because at the minute she's still so young. She's only 6 weeks, so she just falls asleep in our arms and then we slowly put her in her bed. And then of course this is the hardest bit, and that's to put her in her own bed. And like I was saying, she has a side bed right next to our bed, so it's quite easy. And being honest with you, this does take actually a few attempts. If she does fall asleep straight away on the first go, that's actually like a miracle. But sometimes it would take like 2 to 3 attempts. I would have to take her out of her bed and rock her to sleep again, but that's just pretty normal. And by 9 o'clock she should be already asleep, so it's gonna be me and my boyfriend time, finally.